Linnea is shaping up to be one of those characters where the real question is not just, is she good? But how far should you actually go? Because once a character has a strong signature weapon and constellations that look this loaded, the difference between a smart pull and a wasteful one can be huge. And with Linnea, the choice between C1, C2, and her weapon is not just about raw damage. It is about how much value you're getting for every step you take. So in this video, I want to break it down in the simplest way possible. If you're planning to pull Linnea, should you stop at C0? Is her signature weapon the best first upgrade? Or does C2 become the real breakpoint that makes her explode in value? By the end, you will have a much clearer idea of where your Primogems should go. Let us start with the baseline. Linnea already looks like a character built around defense scaling, lunar crystallize, and hydro-geo team interactions. That matters a lot because it means her upgrades are not just random stat boosts. They are tied directly into her core damage pattern. When a character's kit is built this tightly, even one constellation can completely change how smooth or how powerful they feel. That is why people are already asking whether Linnea needs her weapon, or whether a constellation is the better pickup. Now let us talk about the signature weapon first, because weapons are usually the most tempting trap. On paper, Linnea's bow gives a huge crit damage substat and a defense % passive, which already makes it look tailored for her. The passive also boosts geo damage and lunar crystallize reaction damage after her skill or reaction hits land, and it can even spread team value when moon drifts are nearby. That means this weapon is doing two things at once, raising Linnea's personal output and giving some extra party utility. That is important because it is not just a selfish damage stick. It is designed to support the exact kind of team Linnea wants. So where does that put the weapon in the investment order? In simple terms, the weapon is probably the safest first premium upgrade if you want Linnea to feel complete right away. It gives immediate stats, it matches her scaling, and it likely improves both comfort and damage without changing your rotation too much. If you're the type of player who likes a character to feel finished at a lower investment, the signature weapon is very appealing. But the catch is this: a weapon is only as valuable as the character using it. If Linnea's base kit already functions well, then the weapon becomes a luxury damage upgrade rather than a must-have power spike. That is why the weapon looks amazing, but not automatically the best overall investment. It is strong, yes, but it is also competing with constellations that may change the character more dramatically. Now let us move to C1, which is where things start getting really interesting. Linnea's first constellation gives her stacking field catalog value after using her skill or triggering Moondrift Harmony, and then nearby party members deal lunar crystallized damage that consumes stacks to increase damage based on Linnea's defense. On top of that, when her ultimate power form comes into play, she can consume up to 5 stacks for an even stronger boost. That is a big deal because C1 is not just more damage. It is a constellation that seems to improve the entire engine of her kit. The stack mechanic suggests better scaling, better burst windows, and a stronger payoff when Linnea is actually played around properly. In other words, C1 likely turns Linnea from solid into now this is what the kit was meant to do. For a lot of characters, C1 is the sweet spot. It is usually the first constellation that gives noticeable value without requiring whale-level investment. And Linnea's C1 looks especially good because it directly supports her defense scaling and lunar crystallize focus. If her numbers are already decent at C0, then C1 may be the first upgrade that makes her feel truly premium in actual gameplay. That said, C1 is still more of a personal damage and mechanic upgrade. It is strong, but it may not be as universally impactful as C2 if you are building a full hydro-geo team around her. And that brings us to C2, which may be the biggest prize here. Linnea's second constellation gives Hydro and Geo party members a huge crit damage bonus after Moondrift Harmony, and it also massively boosts the crit damage of her special attack. On top of that, the constellation seems to help trigger Moondrift Harmony in a way that strengthens reaction consistency. This is the kind of constellation that screams team damage spike. A 40% crit damage buff for Hydro and Geo teammates is not small. That is a serious premium level support effect, especially if your team is already built around those elements. Unlike C1, which mainly enhances Linnea's own damage pattern, C2 sounds like it can raise the ceiling of the whole party. So if you are asking which single upgrade gives the most account-wide value in a Linnea team, C2 may actually be the answer. It looks like the constellation that makes her not just a carry or support hybrid, but a real team amplifier. The extra crit damage on her own burst sequence is also a nice bonus, but the real value is the team-wide boost. That is the kind of effect that ages well if her teams stay relevant. So my final ranking, based on the current kit information, would be this. Go for C1 if you want the smartest early upgrade. Go for the weapon if you want Linnea to feel fully optimized. And go for C2 if you're investing into her as a long-term Hydro-Geo centerpiece. So no, you probably do not need all three unless you are going all in. But if you are trying to spend wisely, Linnea actually gives you a pretty clear progression path. C1 for value, weapon for comfort, C2 for power. And that is the real pull question. Do you want a stronger Linnea, a smoother Linnea, or a Linnea that makes the whole team stronger? Which one would you choose? Subscribe and comment your thoughts.